championship caliber teams, big time Big Ten teams are all 2-3 deep. Are we old enough as a team yet to be 2-3 deep and still run through people? That's where I get into the conversation about the offensive line being a lot deeper than it's been.
45, 40, 35, 30, he's gonna go!
It's time people feel us!
Big Red Junkies.
Day by day, he gets better and better! He gets better and better! Team is If we die, we die!
Man, woman, and child in that. Put him in the aisle.
Bring that trophy back to Lincoln!
Welcome into a special episode of the Big Red Junkies. I am BJ. This is Matt. That is Jed. And this is Mr. Elijah Herbel. If you haven't met him before, it's because you're an asshole and you haven't watched all of our shows. This is Elijah from the Average Joe Sports Show. They were formerly Hail Varsity Radio. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Just put a bleep on that one. Much bigger and better things. Much bigger and better things.
Yeah. So check us out. We do 7 days a week of content,
Yes.
which is a lot, I know. But the kind of vision is we know not a lot of people out there are 7 days a week listeners. Some people are, but we just like to have content for you every single day that is up to date. So we try to bring that for you. We're live every single day from 4 to 6, Monday through Friday. That is Chris Schmidt and myself. In the weekend editions, we kind of get the whole cast of characters in there. So Saturday mornings, we go live at 7:45, and that is Bill Dolman, Chris Schmidt, myself, and Mark Kranak. And then we're always joined by Brandon Vogel and Gary Sharp from Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. And then Sundays, we go for about an hour at 10:30, which those get really fun during football season whenever we're reacting to what went down on Saturday in the Husker football games. But that is Bill Dolman, Chris Schmidt, Gary Sharp, and myself. So it's kind of your 7 days a week schedule. We have a lot of fun with it. Hope you join us to search up the Average Joe Sports Show wherever you get podcasts: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all the big hits.
Recently on Amazon.
Yeah, thank you for that one. I thought we were on Amazon. He's like, you guys need to get on Amazon, and I did my math, and apparently we initially got denied, but then eventually accepted. So also find us on YouTube where we do a live video stream every single day. You can hop in the live chat. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So if you want to get in and get involved with us, you can hop in the live chat on YouTube. The Average Joe Sports Show is what you search up there. Also find me on social media at Herbal Essences.
His Twitter is pretty hilarious most of the time.
It's the only thing I do well.
You guys have any word yet on whether or not you're getting back into the Omaha radio market anytime soon?
No update recently. Still hoping to.
That's my biggest thing is on my drive home, I want to be able to throw you guys on, and it's tough to do the streaming over the...
And for those that know us from our time in Omaha, I know News Talk 900 in Columbus has a massive signal. It might not be the audio fidelity that you love, but I know especially Western Omaha will get the Columbus feed. So check us out on 900 AM. 900? AM 900, check it out.
Right.
I've been told
if I can slip it in.
Most radios will pick that up in Omaha. At least that was what I've been told. They got a pretty big signal. So you can try to find us on 900 AM in Omaha. 1240 AM or 101.5 FM is the signal in Lincoln. And then I don't want to mess this up. I think it's 1460 out in Columbus. Hastings, Grand Island is the signal to catch us out there.
There you go. Sweet. We appreciate you being here, man. If you haven't caught it already, we did a full season Nebraska schedule breakdown. Go in there, catch our record predictions. We let Elijah spoil his for his Average Joe show.
Well, we're doing a little bit differently this year on the Average Joe show. We're doing 3 a week starting. We just started this weekend, so we did the first 3. We're doing 3, 3, and 3. So I'm like, all right, well, I can just dive into the deep end now.
That was quite the serious discussion live on air. This morning, Smitty was like, I don't know about that. You and Kranak were like, no, that's the way we're doing it.
Well, I didn't want to lock in the predictions.
It was Gary that was having a problem.
I didn't want to lock in the predictions now. Mark was all about locking in the predictions now. So I'm like, okay, he's been itching to get his predictions locked in. So he's the one who set up the Excel spreadsheet. So I think we have to.
Very excited about that Excel spreadsheet.
He's a freak in the Excel sheets.
Freak sheets. We got one of those too. Matt's our Excel guy over here.
I dabble.
We're doing if you're not familiar with our show, we like to throw prop bets out there for every one of the games, but we also do a preseason prop bet where we go through and do some season long props. Typically there will be a few shots that are thrown around during this show.
What kind of shots are we talking here?
Shot bets.
Oh.
Yeah, shot bets, which Matt actually still owes us from last season.
I thought
yeah, there's some shots. If you'd rather a little little side there. You can go for it, bud.
Well,
but
I did see. I didn't mean to steal your. I was looking at your computer screen. I saw you had the 2024 props pulled up, and I might need a shot before we go through those.
Well, we're not going through those. I was just looking at it for reference.
give us our records for those. If you haven't pulled up,
Matt and I went 7-4. Elijah went 6-5. BJ went 5-6, and the fans went 4-6.
We're all better than the fans.
All
I can
better
take
than
that.
the fans. That doesn't happen very often. Usually, I'm on the bottom end of the total pool. Trying to flip that this year. I was dead last year.
Were there any that we were just horrible at, like collectively as a group? I'm not sure if you remember off the top of your head from your collection.
Yeah, usually I have these highlighted as far as which ones, but I didn't highlight them, so I don't know. I guess I could look at any of the ones that we kind of all guessed the same. We all took the under. We had Nebraska turnovers lost 19.5. We all took the under, and we had 19. So I guess we all got that one right.
Hey.
The fans have that too, or is that their one that put them under us?
Well, everybody took under.
Oh, nice.
It appears
Literally
we
everybody.
all got killed on which running back will have the most carries.
Yes.
Who did we have? Who did we all have?
Well, three of us three had Gabe Irvin. That
Oh,
didn't-
Jesus.
Didn't work out.
He had 14 carries.
Turns out his career was over, and even he didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
I had Emmett, so I'm proud of that one because he was the best running back last year, despite the fact he had the
was.
most carries.
He was just held out of the first 9 games.
Yeah. But nothing really stands out on these.
Okay.
Wow. Well, let's see what we can fuck up for this one.
All right. Question number 1. We'll go right to the guy. Dylan Raiola passing yards. I got
Wow, we're starting off big and
Right
strong
here.
on this one.
I got the number at 3,400 passing yards. Last year, he had just over 2,800 in 13 games. Based on the percentage increase that we have on 5-star quarterbacks that we looked at on one of our previous shows a couple months ago, of guys that have taken 500 or more snaps since 2016, he should basically have just over 3,400 passing yards. 3,400 passing yards would be 261 per game if he's going to only play 13 games. And it would put him at 16th in the country last year. It will be number 2 all-time passing season for Nebraska if he gets to 3,400 yards.
A lot of conflicting
It'd be number-
numbers.
it'd be number what? It'd be number what?
For Nebraska?
Yeah.
Second most.
Be second most to only Tommy Armstrong?
No, Gans at 3,568.
Oh, Gans, that's right.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just get this.
Elijah's taking it ahead of time.
Do we have a cup or anything? Okay, I guess
Yeah,
raw
here you
dog
go.
it.
Here you go. Little stadium cup action for you.
Let me just,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
was that,
That's like a three. No. Don't do that. Elijah's going to need an Uber back to Lincoln after this one. I'm going to go ahead and kick this one off because
that's a double shot.
if you haven't caught it yet, like I said on the record prediction show, I have Nebraska playing in the Big Ten championship, going 11-1, and I think a lot of that rides on the fact that Dylan Raiola is going to be a dark horse Heisman candidate by the end of the season. He might not get invited to New York, but he's going to be up there. I'm going over, easy over, and I can tell you that based on the Pick 6 preview and based on some of the analytics that have been done in the background, 3,500 sounds like a good number.
I don't think it's going to be an easy over. I think 34 is a very good number
Oh,
for
you
this.
put a good number on it.
But I do
based
think
it off that percentage increase that we did earlier. So
I do think just considering a couple of factors, the biggest one being I think he'll be pretty well protected this year from our offensive line. I think he's got a good opportunity to get over that hump, and so I'm going to take the over too.
okay.
Quarterbacks that went over 4K for Holgorsen in the past, Case Keenum, Brandon Whedon, Geno Smith. I think that pedigree-wise, Dylan Raiola is a step ahead of them. Maybe not Geno Smith in college, but I think he's at least right there with him. It's
Well, he'll be
very
the first
doable
to
for
tell you
him.
this is a different Dana Holgorsen offense.
Mm-hmm.
No. I realize that.
I'm going to go for the under here, not because I don't think he can do it, more because I think that there are going to be plenty of opportunities this year for Nebraska to not be throwing the ball around the yard like they were last year. They played in a lot of close football games last year. If Nebraska lives up to their expectations this season, I think there's going to be a lot of third and fourth quarters where they would like to run the ball
Ground
a
and
lot more.
pound.
Ground and pound, run the game out. Matt Rhule does not like running up the score. Dana might a little bit, but that's not Matt Rhule's style. I think he'll be running the football down the field more than anything late in football games. So I'll take the under, but I think it'll be. I think he eclipses 3,000, but I don't think he gets to 3,400.
Yeah, I'm basically right there with you. I think he gets very close, if not barely over 3,300, but I'm not going to over 3,400.
I could see it on 3,400 if there has to be a game or two where Dylan Raiola takes the reins of the offense and has to sling the ball around the yard. That I could see happening, but if it is like games where Nebraska actually has a competent rushing attack with Emmett Johnson and some other backs in there, I think we'll have a season where Raiola gets close to 3,400 but doesn't get over.
Well, and to be fair, we are counting postseason games. So if we do make it to a Big Ten title game, like you think we might, BJ,
which would result in
and then
also a playoff
and then
game.
we play a minimum of one more game to make it 14 games. Obviously, that's gonna be
that's a big chunk.
You can, but I'm basing it. I think we're only going to play 13 games, so I'm still going to stick with under 3,400.
So a question that I guess I would ask on that. The big games we have on our schedule, looking at a Michigan, an Iowa, a USC, a Penn State, obviously, in those games, schematically, are we going to have to throw the ball more in those games, or are those going to be more 3 yards in a cloud of dust, who comes out at the end with a field goal type thing?
Well, I did the math here, and if it is a 13 game slate for Nebraska this season, it would be about 270 yards per game for Raiola.
261.
261, yeah. It would be, I'm glad you had that pulled up. It would be,
It's 261, okay? You're 9 yards off, Dick.
261.487.
that's it. It's a realistic total for Rhule to hit. It really is.
Yeah.
That's not unthinkable in a Dana Holgorsen offense. So I if it comes down to the fact that Nebraska does have to throw the ball with him and he's in a lot of games late in the fourth quarter, he'll probably hit that 3,400. I just think there's going to be some games where they try to pull him out and get some other guys in.
And I think it'll kind of depend, if you're talking about specifically the bigger games, it'll depend on the opponent. I think we throw the ball a lot more against somebody who's going to be high octane like USC and not as much against somebody like Penn State, where it's going to be who can push each other harder on the offensive line.
Yeah, that's fair.
It really comes down to who we're playing week to week.
But that 3,400 is a really good line, I think.
But Matt basically said what I was about to say with what your question was against the bigger opponents. Well, which bigger, that's going to be game dependent of those bigger opponents.
Against Iowa, it sounds like we were talking while we were taking a little break. It sounds like we can't throw the ball against them because they have the world's best safety back there.
Not what we said. So just real
ChatGPT, does Iowa really have the world's best safety?
just real quickly before we move on, you said easy over. So do you think he gets over the Nebraska record of 35-68?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I say I think he does that at some point in his career, but I don't think this year.
Okay.
I was thinking
next year.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year.
Okay.
That's a lot for a sophomore.
Do you think we have the weapons for him to throw to get there?
This year, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think they will have it next year as well, assuming he is still playing football for Nebraska next season.
Yeah.
It won't be, it shouldn't, I should say, with Nebraska's resources financially and with a 5-star quarterback, it should not be difficult to go out and find weapons that want to play in this offense, especially if Dana's still around another year, which is a big if.
And with the new outlook Rhule seems to have on the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that you just lead to another good question. Is Dana Holgorsen here for his 2-year contract, like he says, or is this a similar run as to what what's his name,
Chip Kelly?
Chip Kelly did, where he goes and gets a good full year in, and then takes an OC job in the NFL.
I think that's what Dana would like, but I think if things go well with him, with Dylan Raiola this year, and he feels like he could go win a national championship,
He might hang out
next
until
year,
he's gone.
he might hang out till Raiola is gone.
Yeah.
But
It's not like he's going to be short on cash.
Sounds like we know the record prediction show is going to be like next year for Elijah.
I don't. It was if. I would say if you ask Dana right now, I think he would legitimately tell you, if he was giving you full honesty, that he doesn't know if he'll still be here next year.
That's
I think
fair.
he could see it both ways.
That's fair. What's up next there, Jed?
Question number 2.
So we were 2-2 on that?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Rhule has talked about this before he even started here at Nebraska, where the goal is to get 40 plus sacks, 20 plus takeaways. And if you get 40-20, you're going to have double-digit wins. So basically, does Nebraska get 40-20? Nebraska has not done it since 2009. The last 40 plus sack season was 2009. The last 20 plus takeaway season was 2019. 10 teams in the country last year had a 40-20 season, and those 10 teams averaged 10.6 wins.
I think that's a tough hill to climb.
It is.
Doing one or the other, I will say definitely yes. We'll get there in one of those two. Doing them both, I don't see it.
I'm going to go bold here, and I'm going to say yes. And I have reason for it. I think John Butler's defense will be even a little bit more attacking than Tony White's. But the secondary aspect here is I do believe that other teams will be playing from behind late in football games more, which means they're going to have to throw the football around more, which gives you more chances at sacks. And they're also going to be able to take more risks offensively, which gives your defense more chance at takeaways.
I was going to say, I almost feel like the takeaways will be easier this year. Mm-hmm. The sacks will be harder, especially with the inconsistencies that we might see on defensive
You'll
line.
need some chunk games against your Akrons and Houston Christians and Northwesterns of the world, where you're talking...
Which is where we fell flat in the takeaways last year.
Where you're talking 7-8 sacks and 3 takeaways in a game like that. Nebraska will need a couple chunk games to get there, but I could see that happening with the fact that there's going to be some teams that are probably going to be playing a little reckless, playing from behind late in a football game.
I think we're going to get to the 20 takeaways. I don't think we're going to get to 40. I think we're going to get really close to 40 sacks, but I don't think we're going to get to 40.
I can see mid-30s.
So I'm going to go with no.
Because of the confidence that Matt Rhule seems to have, which is it's a semi-quiet confidence, but he did address it. He was asked directly about the defensive line and the stylistic change that we're going to see from John Butler, who historically, as a D coordinator, has been a guy who calls a lot more pressure. I think the sacks is attainable, especially with Keona Davis and Winery.
Well, it's a more pass rushing defensive line.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's designed to hit numbers like this.
And don't forget about the jacks that you have with McCullough and McGahee.
Yeah,
guys
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
McCullough is, I like to reference as Darth Vader. I'm going with a yes on this. I think that this is if you want to be a contender in the Big Ten, these are baseline numbers that you have to hit. If you want to get to 11 wins, which I think we're going to, these are baseline numbers that you have to hit. You already called it out. 10.3 wins is the average on that. I'm going over.
Also, of the 3 times Rhule has had 10-plus win seasons, 2 of them he hit the 40-20. Once at Temple, once at Baylor.
There you
go. Question 3, Emmett Johnson total yards. This is kind of an obvious question because we did a show on guys that get over 1,000 total yards receiving and rushing. I'm going to put the number not at 1,000 because he was really close last year at 884, and he wasn't even the guy for all of the year. So 1,200 total offensive yards for Emmett Johnson. 57 guys in the country had 1,200 plus. 3 guys for Nebraska have gone over 1,200 since 2016. Trey Palmer, Divina Zigbo, and J.D. Spielman.
This is all health dependent, but I'll dive in first here and say over. It's all health dependent. He's the guy that you're going to want to get the ball probably 20 touches a game. And I think in an ideal world for him, you got him at 80 to 100 rushing yards per game and probably another 40 to 50 receiving yards per game. With that in mind, he should hit it pretty easily. The number I have in mind for him to hit this year, I think it's a successful season if he gets to 1,500 all-purpose yards.
Yeah, I think the health thing is obviously... That was a question
you asked a couple shows ago.
What?
Could we get him to 1,500 yards?
I kind of thought 1,200 might be a little low, but again, I think with moving Mosey over to get another guy in the running back room, that's going to take away touches. I'm not going to say it's going to take away a ton of touches or anything like that, but I just think they're going to spread the ball around so much that I didn't really want to go up to 1,500 because 1,500 sounded like just too much. I
don't think he gets 1,200 rushing yards.
No.
But I do think his usage out of the backfield will get him there. I mean, he had, was it 8 catches or 7 catches against Wisconsin, another 7 against USC. He had a fair number of targets out of the backfield those last couple games under Holgorsen and again in the bowl game. And I think that is the difference here is he's going to be used as the reliable check down option for Raiola.
For the first time in a long time, he's going to be the guy in the backfield. Yep. And so I think that gives him a really easy opportunity to get up high in numbers.
So a question I have for you is based on the fact that we now know Mosey has moved into that running back spot and he is naturally a wide receiver. Kind of a, what was his name? The guy that he got drafted by the Giants that went to Kentucky after he was here for a year.
Wan'Dale Robinson.
Wan'Dale Robinson. Kind of a body type like that, but slightly bigger. Do you think that it takes any of those catching opportunities away from Emmett Johnson from a standpoint of that's always kind of been a second back type thing for us in the last 2 years at least, and knowing that Dana Holgorsen likes to run a 2-back set sometimes.
I mean, that's kind of what I just said as far as I think moving a guy like Mosey to running back is going to take touches away from Emmett Johnson.
He's also a true freshman. Yeah. I don't think he's going to play that much. Too.
But if he takes 5 touches away, that sort of I'm not saying he's going to take 10 some double-digit number of touches away from Emmett Johnson. I'm just saying he might take a couple of away from him. So
I've said this multiple times on the Average Joe Sports Show. free plug there. In the last couple weeks, I would love to see.
Plug away, my friend.
I would
You're
love to
sitting
see the diamond formation
Yes.
back in the offense this year with Mosey, with Emmett Johnson, and with Ja'Cory Barney.
Yeah.
Oh, does that get my blood going?
That's a lot of talent back there. That's a lot of talent back there.
Maybe even throw Heinrich Carberg back there.
Real quickly, you were
That'd be
talking about
terrifying.
basically throwing the ball to Emmett Johnson under Holgorsen. In the first 9 games without Holgorsen, Emmett Johnson had 76 touches and targets. In the last 4 games with Holgorsen, he had 82. So it skyrocketed.
20 touches a game.
Yeah.
I'm taking the easy over on this just simply because of the fact that the numbers he had last year with getting limited good opportunity in the first 9 games, it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'm also. I didn't realize I didn't say it already. Yeah, over.
You might have said it. I just probably
And
didn't hear you.
For what
I
it's
would
worth
be-
here, if he gets 20 touches a game and a 13-game schedule, to get to 1,200 yards, he would need to average 4.6 yards per touch.
Pretty attainable.
That's very attainable when you factor throw in
Yeah.
2 or 3 10-plus yard touches a game.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I think you once again have to think about the offensive line here too. They're going to help him out big on this one.
And I think whenever you're looking at it, like a yards per carry average, you're looking at 4.5 is probably the number you're looking for from him this year.
As far as total yards, he was over 5 last year.
Yeah.
So
I was just specifically talking like rushing yards. That's why I think
Yeah.
it's over.
I'm going to take the over. Just another point of contention as far as his numbers skyrocketed in the last 4 games under Holgorsen. He averaged 120.7 yards per game, total yards per game. You match that out through 13 games. I don't think he's going to average 120 total yards per game.
No.
Fuck, I hope so.
Because one of those games was like 193 against Wisconsin. But
And also one of your games in the upcoming schedule is Houston Christian, where he shouldn't play in the second half.
exactly.
Also true.
So I think it's going to get pretty close to 1,200, but I think he's going to go over 1,200. Jesus, words. Question number 4. Whoever the leading tackler is, doesn't matter who it is, will the leading tackler have over or under 90 and a half tackles? The leading tackler for Nebraska since 2016 has had 91.3.
As a stipulation here, whenever we predict this, can we also predict who Nebraska's leading tackler will be in
I was going
parentheses?
to I was going to kind of do that anyway. And taking account that we have a guy now on the team that has had over 100 tackles the last 3 years. Granted, at Georgia Southern, but still, it's still over 100 tackles each of the last 3 years.
I think Nebraska's leading tackler last year was at Singleton. I just looked this up like a week ago. I think it was Deshaun Singleton.
No, it was Gifford.
I was Gifford.
73.
73,
I
and
mean,
then Singleton
Singleton
was right
had
behind.
71,
Yeah. So they were well off that 90 number.
They were, but we also, since 2016, we have 2 guys that went well over 100, a couple of 90s, but it was at 91.3.
I don't know. I'll just jump in first.
That's
I don't know if we have a set group of guys that are going to spend enough time on the field to get there. I think we're going to see a lot of in and out with our defensive players this year.
That was one of the reasons why our leading tackler only had 73 last year.
And I think we'll see a lot of the same. So I have to take the under on this one.
Who's the leading tackler, though?
You have a lot of options here.
Yeah, you do.
Maybe Singleton again.
Yeah.
He'll
I
be
think
up there.
He's a great option. Give me the over, very barely, like a 92 or 93 tackle type season from Javen Wright.
Ooh.
Javen Wright's not here anymore.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Javen Wright's the guy that had the blood
Bear.
clot.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
Javen Wright, as long as he can play the full season.
yeah.
I could see him getting there.
If he's healthy, he's a guy that I don't think will leave the field for Nebraska this year.
You talk about a guy that nobody talks about. Jesus.
I mean, and he's the guy that is going to be.
Why the hell didn't we draft him last year?
He's
last week
tough
in our
because
draft.
it's difficult to think you're going to get a full year out of him.
I know.
It's
That's true.
yeah.
And but the thing
Also, I
is,
thought one of us did.
No.
he's the guy that is going to be lined up covering tight ends most. I don't think he's the guy that leaves the field because he's going to be so versatile in that.
He
that
has so much
linebacker
speed and
score.
size.
Jed, you took
Absolutely.
him at number 4.
Yeah.
No, I took Sierra Wright at number 4.
Other right.
Better pick. A slightly better pick.
Oh, yeah.
Unless he goes for 90 tackles.
And he goes into the spreadsheet and it clarifies I'm talking about Javen right
I
here.
had to make sure.
I'll make that clarification now. Anyway, back to it.
Yeah, BJ, what do you think on the leading tackler having 90.5.
I think it's going to be over.
Okay.
I think it's going to be slightly over, but it's going to be over. And this is probably assuming that Javin Wright is not the superstar linebacker for us this year. But I think Vincent Shavers has a chance
too.
At being the guy that does it. I think that the other dark horse in that conversation could be my guy, Darth Vader. Deshaun McCullough. Sorry.
I'm going to go with the over, and I'm just going to go with the obvious guy who has over 100 tackles each of the last 3 years, and I'm going to go with Marcus Watson Trent.
Okay.
118 total tackles in 2024.
So Mark Kranak on the Average Joe Sports Show realized that the Georgia Southern commentators called him Marquez Watson Trent.
Sure.
We might be pronouncing it wrong. Everyone around here calls him Marquise or Marquez Watson Trent, but apparently it's Marquez.
I was just trying to say Watson Trent.
I thought Rhule put that. I thought Rhule said that in one of his sidebars that it's spelled the same as Marquise Buford, but it's pronounced Marcus.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard like multiple different pronunciations of his name. So
I feel like Rhule's going to know better than anybody.
If
but
there's one person,
just me.
if there's one person I trust to give me the correct pronunciation, we'll see if Nebraska gets a big noon kickoff game this year. I know Gus Johnson's going to pronounce it right. So
there we go. They also just put out their files with the pronunciations, so we could go look that up. But I'm not going to do that.
I'll never forget Gus Johnson, Borkirker.
Yeah. Well, he also said it like 5 different names. It wasn't just that one. He said it like 5 different ways.
What is going on here?
If you happen to see him stacking golf carts, randomly out there, you can go ahead and ask him.
I did run into Nate Borkirker last year, actually, though. Really good dude.
All right, question number 5. We're going to stick on the defense. I picked 4 guys. I just randomly picked 4 guys, so we're not going off of this board. Riley Van Poppel, Vincent Shavers Jr., Watson Trent, Cam Lenhard. Who will have more tackles for loss? For instance, Watson Trent, just for reference, he had 26 tackles for loss in the last 3 years. Lenhard had 5 as a freshman, 3 last year, and Shavers Jr. had 2.5 last year. Popple obviously didn't.
Do you have the pronunciation pulled up here?
Pause for 1 second.
Marquez.
Okay.
Marquez. Okay, there it is.
Now we know.
Done. And that was him saying it. So
Sure.
got it. Say those numbers again. Sorry.
That's okay. Who will have more tackles for loss by these 4 guys? Riley Van Poppel, Vincent Shavers Jr., Marquez, Watson Trent, and Cam Lenhard.
Do you have stats on what they did?
Watson Trent had 26 in the last 3 years combined. Cam Lenhard had 5 as a freshman, 3 last year. Shavers had 2.5 last year. Riley Van Poppel had, I think, 1 because obviously limited playing time. So
yeah.
So between those 4 guys, who will have the most tackles for loss?
How many times is Riley Van Poppel going to be dragging a running back trying to hit a hole down at the half-yard loss line?
I don't know.
I think that's the game changer on here, and that's why I'm going to go with him.
Are sacks qualified as a tackle for loss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know how the stat keeping works. Yeah. I assumed so, but I wasn't 100% on that. Who is Nebraska's? I see you have it pulled up. Who's their leader last year?
Ty Robinson and John Bullock both had double digits. Ty Robinson had 12.5. Bullock had 10.
Okay.
Jamari Butler had 7. Bayer had 6.
And see, Watson Trent too. That's the other thing is his bread and butter has been run stopping.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very similar to what John Bullock did for us last year. I think that's a good number 2 pick for me, but I'm going with Riley Van Poppel.
Okay.
I'll take Shavers because of the athleticism.
Oof, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You saw it in the bowl game. The dude flies around with that athleticism and
has
linebacker
that
spot.
nose for the ball.
Yeah.
Has that nose
Does
for the
he
ball.
not? I'm not making the comparison, but does he not have like that slight shade of Levante David with the way he flies sideline to sideline?
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's not a comparison. That's just the way he can move from one sideline to the sideline like that.
Yeah.
He has a little bit of that Levante David in him, so I will take Shavers.
Okay. Matt?
I'm going to do Watson Trent on this one. I think Lenhart and Van Poppel are going to eat up a lot of the bodies inside, and that's going to give him an opportunity.
Just for fun, I'm going to take the other guy that wasn't picked. I'm going to go Cam Lenhard. I really want him to have a bounce back season from
this is a hopeful prediction right
yes,
here.
It is.
I think he's going to have
see any of them doing it too.
And Rhule talked earlier this offseason about the fact that one of the big things he wanted for the freshmen that played well last year was to not have that complacency through the offseason. And I was wondering if he was kind of talking a little bit about Linhart having like the guys who played a lot their freshman year, they had a little complacency last year. They didn't understand you need to take it up a notch for that sophomore season as opposed to being like this got me on the field last year. That's not good enough anymore. The guys have to take the next step. And I wonder if Linhart was one of the guys he was referring to as a guy that didn't necessarily take it to that next level after his freshman season.
I don't remember exactly where I heard it because it was a handful of months ago. I think it was during spring where Cam Linhart came out and flat out said, I was pissed how I played last year. Like that was not who I want to be.
How much of that do you think was an overshadowing, and how much of that do you think was a like? If you notice, a lot of our like third down, try and get after the passer, he was getting replaced on the field by Williams.
Yeah,
like he was getting those opportunities taken away from him. Whether or not that meant he was just not as good of a pass rusher, or was he the guy that was supposed to be in there spelling and taking the hits for the run stopping side of things, and then we're leaving all the energy to Williams to come in and be that energy spark to get back there.
Or in practice, Williams was just being better, and he earned it.
That could be it too.
Who knows?
I'm sorry, but I'm not here for a player being pissed off to motivate themselves. I want them focused, not pissed off.
I mean, you can gain focus by being pissed off. I mean, you can.
It's all about how you use it.
Business mindset.
I'm with you.
I get it.
Well, there was a baseball player a couple weeks ago that was asked like,
We need to be really careful with the baseball talk on this show.
Talk about Korean baseball.
We're keeping this under 1 minute.
it was Japanese baseball.
Whatever.
I'm glad I was not here for that.
Jen would have walked out.
Still a great conversation. But I can't remember which baseball player it was, but he was asked like, what motivates you? What keeps you going? And he said, I'm not motivated. I'm disciplined. There's a big difference there.
Massively.
Motivation comes and goes. Discipline is steady.
Absolutely.
That's all I want to say about that. Because I don't want to dive too deeply into baseball, excuse me. But there's a difference between motivation and discipline. Nebraska needs guys who are disciplined with their work, not guys who are motivated by their work.
Absolutely.
Question number 6, Dane Key receiving yards, even 1,000.
Dane Key receiving yards.
28 players last year had 1,000 plus receiving yards. Key had 715 last year at Kentucky.
With a terrible quarterback.
Yes.
Brock Vandegrift.
Yeah, they only had like just over 2,200 passing yards for the entire season. And he had 715. It was almost a third of it. Nebraska has only had 2 guys ever go over 1,000 yards receiving. Trey Palmer and Stanley Morgan.
Who wants to start us off?
I'm going under.
You're going under?
I'm going under, and it's just for the fact that there's too many targets, and throughout his entire history, with the exception of like 2 guys who are both undersized guys, Tank Dell and Tavon Austin, Dana Holgorsen has done a great job of spreading the ball around. I think Dane Key is probably Nebraska's leader in terms of touchdown receptions. I don't even think he's the leading receiver.
Who's going to lead?
I really like Isaiah Hunter.
Yeah. I think he's going to get a lot of midfield yards.
I think he's more of the mid to deep threat, whereas Dane Key is that consistent third and 5, 3rd and 6. You're looking for Dane Key. I think he's your red zone threat. I don't necessarily think he's the guy that's going to go 10 targets, 8 catches, 100 yards a game. I think he's going to be much more that 7 targets, 4 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown kind of guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Dylan can get to where we think he could this year, and we won't see a single receiver sniff 1,000 yards. We see a lot of them get in the 800 range, but there's too many options, and I like that.
I think in terms of yardage, Isaiah Hunter is probably the leader. I think in terms of catches, Ja'Cory Barney's probably the leader. I think in terms of touchdowns, Dane Key's probably the leader.
And if we can mix it around like that, I'll be a happy boy.
Mm-hmm.
BJ?
I like it. I'm going to go, because the question's with Dane Key, I'm going to go under, because I also think Ja'Cory Barney's going to be our number 1 wide receiver.
Okay.
That's that. I think Ja'Cory Barney could potentially get to 1,000.
All right.
My thing is, similar to the red zone threat thing, I think Dane Key's probably our touchdown leader.
Yep.
I will somewhat agree with you if they can keep Barney out of the backfield. We don't need to be doing all of this sweep stuff that we tried to do with him last year. I think we need to get him on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Well, and to back up what you said about Isaiah Hunter, he's the one guy that in spring they were talking about consistently getting behind the defense, and nobody else was able to break free.
Yep.
He's kind of a physical freak.
He's special.
Yeah.
If you look at some of his testing numbers, Sammy Watkins. He's got similar size and 40-yard dash time.
Wait. Sammy Watkins, NFL or college?
College.
Because let's not go NFL style.
This is not a comparison. This is just a purely testing numbers wise. He's got a very similar 40 time height and weight. And I'm not saying he's playing like that, but if you want a vision in your head of what he might be able to play like, where he's got that unique mix of 6'3" frame with low 4.4 to high 4.3 speed, it's an Isaiah Hunter.
Yeah.
I like it.
I am also going to go with the under on the 1,000 yards for Dinky. I think he can get to a 900, but I'm not going to go up to 1,000.
He's been consistent in that 500 and 600 range for 3 straight years.
Well, he was 715 last year, but yeah.
Okay.
With an awful quarterback. So he's got you've got the opportunity to with
the
Dylan.
upside's there.
Well, let's be. There wasn't many targets to throw it to at Kentucky last year either. They had a bad quarterback, and it was Dane Key to throw it to.
It does tell me something that it was such a big deal to bring in Shorts, and that for Shorts it was such a big deal to bring in Dane Key.
That's kind of why I'm using
It's a
Dane
good
Key
question.
as a question.
It's a good question.
I mean, I like the other guys. I like Barney. I like Hunter. All that stuff. But it's kind of like I'm going to go with Key as this question. So I probably could have named any of those 3 with this exact same question.
I was going to say, if you asked the question as will Nebraska have a 1,000-yard receiver, that's a tougher answer. That's a tougher question for me than just Dane Key.
Okay.
And this is just recency bias, but I think of the 1,000-yard receivers, has there been more than just Palmer and Morgan?
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love Dane Key. I think he's going to be great. I don't think he's Stanley Morgan. I don't think he's Trey Palmer.
Okay.
No offense to Dane Key, but I don't think he's
I also think Trey Palmer was on a team where he was the only dude that we could get anything from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Morgan, not necessarily, but he was definitely the dude.
Yeah.
But that was also
J.D. Spielman with him.
that was also, if you remember the year that he went over 1,000, Stanley Morgan was lighting the world on fire as much as he could at Nebraska.
And Zigbo went over 1,000 rushing yards.
Yeah, and that offense was just that offense was very, very high flying.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
I am repeating this question from last year. This is one that you added at the very end, Elijah. Nebraska players on the all-conference 3 deep at the end of the season. So they have three teams on the all-conference team. We have had 8 total in the last 4 years, only 2 in the last 2 years. But if you're going 3 deep, I'm going to go 2.5 guys. Over under.
I think I have to take the over on that one.
Okay.
I think we've got the chance for an offensive lineman to get in there. We've got the chance for Dylan to be in there. I think
Sierra Wright's a guy I circle.
I was just going through offense first. Then you get into the defense, you've got a few opportunities in there. So I take 3+ on that one.
Okay. Anybody else?
If we're gonna go,
It's a perfect line.
9-3, 10-2, 11-1, we're gonna have 3+ on there.
I'm going to go with, I'll just say mine. I'm going to go with the under, but I think it's going to be 2. So just barely under.
This is also highly affected by the records that we predicted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how successful we think the season's going to go. So I'm going to let you go here.
I'll go over.
Okay.
The 3 I have Sierra Wright I have circled.
Yeah, I have. That's one of my 2.
If Nebraska's season goes the way that people think it should, I think Dylan Raiola should be probably like a 3rd team.
At least in contention, a 3rd team, yeah.
And then dare I circle Emmett Johnson?
Oh,
Especially if he gets well over that 1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of
You don't think that with his recent years and how he's kind of been talked about over the offseason that Elijah Pritchett has the opportunity to be on that list?
I think he does.
in some realms, he's being projected as a first-round pick.
And the question is he's going back to his natural left side this year.
Yep.
He played right tackle at Bama, really struggled in pass protection. I think he comes in as a road grading offensive line on the left side as a run blocker. Does he return back to what we thought he could be coming out of high school as a pass protector going back to his natural left side? That's kind of the question because he was rough in pass protection at Bama. And you're taking him from the side that from a right-handed quarterback is less important to more important on the left side, but that's the position he grew up playing from his middle school years.
Yeah.
And that there is hard habits to break moving left to right. As a former offensive lineman, it is harder to move from left to right than it is to move from tackle to guard. And there's no question. Right to left, left to right, whatever it may be. You are it's like going and driving in England where everything's on the wrong side of the road.
So you're projecting he's going to have a much better season.
I think he's going to have a better season. I'm not sure it's enough to get 3rd team all Big Ten with some of the guys you have at Penn State, Oregon, Iowa. I think Indiana even has an all right offensive line this year. So, and Illinois, there's a lot of offensive linemen in the Big Ten. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Well, and based on the record that I picked, which if you haven't watched the show, go watch the show. Oh, by the way, like the show right now and comment. Tell us what you think about this specific question. Because I think this one tells a lot about whether or not you think we're going to have a successful season. The all-conference teams are strictly made up of teams that were good and teams that were bad almost all the time. And a lot of that has to do with individual performance, but a lot of it has to do with, well, a team like Indiana last year who blew it out of the water, even though they only played one tough game and got embarrassed. They still put 6 guys on the list. I think Nebraska's going 11-1, 10-2 at worst. I think Dylan Raiola is going to be number 2 or 3 for sure. Guy that I think is going to be great. There's a reason we took him to Big 10 media days. Henry Lutovsky. I think he's got a real shot at getting himself drafted mid to high, 3rd, 4th round type. He's going to be a big play this year. I think Rocco Spindler is going to be a guy that has run his mouth a shit ton for about a team who played in the national championship, which is kind of weird.
You listened to our interview with him, didn't you?
Oh, I loved your interview with him, dude. That's what got me high on him because I've got a close friend of mine that's a massive Notre Dame fan. He's been on the show a couple times.
Just embarrassing to hang out with him because he wears Notre Dame shit all the time.
And now he's got a son that goes to Nebraska. He's starting this year in the fall, so it's interesting because he's gonna have to wear some Nebraska stuff every once in a while. But no, I'm going over for sure. I think we're gonna have 4 or 5 probably. Like I said, Lutovsky's gonna be a dude. Rocco Spindler's gonna be a dude. It's interesting. I asked ChatGPT on this, and it put Marcus Watts and Trent on there. I'm going to replace that with Vincent Shavers because I think he's going to be a special specimen this year. And Sierra Wright. Those are dudes that I would throw out there. Sierra Wright's a guy that, like we talked about when he came in, had super high projection, but was wildly misdirected in where he was spending his time being on Space Jam and all that shit at USC. And that's probably why it didn't work out very well there. We saw with very limited ramp up how good he was by the end of the season here. He's going to be a top 4 or 5 corner in this league this year.
All right. Question number 8. Sacks allowed by Nebraska's defense or Nebraska's offense. I'm sorry. That doesn't make any sense what I just said. 20.5 sacks allowed. Nebraska since 2018 is allowing roughly 29 sacks per year. In 2017, we allowed 24. 2016, we only allowed 15.
And that was about the last good offensive line we had.
Yeah.
What'd you say the number at?
20.5.
It's low, I think. I think we'll be in the low 20s, but I think we go over 20 still.
Okay.
But I also had the fact that you have games like Houston Christian and Akron where realistically you should not allow a sack.
True.
We talked about Northwestern losing all their defensive talent.
Unless it's allowing a 4th quarter sack with, the 5th string
with a
lineman
quarterback that didn't realize he was going to play this year.
Yeah.
But if you're playing those guys in the 4th quarter, why are you throwing the football?
True.
But then you also combine the fact that you have a Penn State defense that could realistically go out there and get 6 or 7 sacks every single game.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense is legit. I'll go over.
Okay. I'm also going to go over.
Especially if we think we're going to be playing any games past 12. I think the numbers are just against you on that one.
So I did actually just change this number. Initially I had it at 24.5. Do you think that's a better number?
24.5, I go under.
I agree with that too.
I can tell you that with the stats,
I changed it because I was basing it off of the records that had been predicted on, between us 4.
That's fair.
I was thinking you guys so when I was setting all this stuff up, me and my buddy who helps me with a lot of these numbers, he actually said 20.5 and I was saying 24, 25 ish.
I think if you go 22.5, I have a really hard time picking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are we amending it halfway through?
I can tell you stats wise, it spits out a range of 18 to 23. So your number's not far off. It falls in there. And I think for me, simply thinking about the fact that Emmett Johnson's terrible in pass protection, or at least he has been.
Yeah.
I don't know dick about any of the other running backs as far as pass protection goes.
Hang on, we got to talk about his pass protection number.
It was a single digit. It was like a 7.
His rating was like 8.6. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
in an ideal world, Emmett Johnson's not pass protecting. He's your check down option.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's got to be able to bump and then go be a check down option. I think it'll come down a lot to what our tight ends look like from a pass pro perspective, or how their chip game is coming off the line, because we don't know shit about Mac Markway, which, I mean, if you point to anything, if you're playing college football 26, he's projected to be actually our star tight end this year, which is, I think, interesting with all the analytics they put into projecting their overall grades and things like that on that. I don't know. I just think that there's going to be an opportunity for some of those games, like the Michigan game, like the USC game, like the Penn State game, like the Iowa game, for us to get teed off on a little bit. And I don't know. I could see 25 sacks and still being successful.
So I'm going to change it to 24.5 back to what I initially had it at.
I think 22.5 is a good number. 24.5, I'm going under.
Okay.
When I look at 20,
You changing yours to under? I'm sorry.
If it's 24.5, definitely.
Okay.
when I look at 24.5, the wild card to me is more Rhule than the offensive line. I think you saw some progress with him last year, at the end of last year, being able to pre-snap pick up when blitzes were going to be and get into the right play. The side note of that is how much control does Dana let him have under that in 2025? I'll stick with over, but barely. I'm at like a 25 or 26 sacks.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm taking the over as well, but just right at that number, basically.
Let me ask this. Does Raiola's being in better shape and being more willing and apt to run the ball this year affect that at all?
It should.
You should lower it.
Yeah. Will it? We're going to find out.
Prove it.
Kind of, yeah.
I think it's big with him coming down to the processing and understanding where blitzes are coming from pre-snap, knowing which guys are going to be free, unblocked, being able to get your guys shifted in the right direction on the offensive line, get that pass protection picked up. That's what it comes down to for me. I'd like to think he's better there, but I also, that number is still 2 sacks a game is not a lot.
You're right.
That's not a lot of sacks. And 2 sacks a game gets you over 24.5, assuming they're playing 13 games.
Yeah. Question number 9 is going back to a handful of years ago, our old reliable question. And
oh boy,
I'm also
kicking questions.
I mean, it's got with Mike Eckler, we got to go special teams, and we got to go with the regular special teams question. Punt returns of 10 plus yards by Nebraska.
Under.
I'm going to put the number at 9.5, and I know with Nebraska's history that is a shit ton. But okay, so Nebraska has had 6 total in the last 4 years.
Jesus Christ.
Tennessee had 47 under Eckler in the last 4 years. He had double digit every single year. He had 11, 10, 10, and 17 or 16. The last time Nebraska has had even a single 10-plus punt return versus a Big Ten team was 2022 against Indiana.
Under all day. And if you ask me again tomorrow, it's even more under than it was now.
I'm going to tell you under, and simply based on the analysis that ChatGPT just did, factoring Mike Eckler and what he's been doing under special teams, still projecting 6 to 8.
Yeah, you're a fucking nerd with
So,
that, by the way.
I'm going under.
Bitch.
I agree, but
It does say the average should be around 7.5 to 9 total yards.
I mean, obviously, I see this number. I put this number at 9.5, and I thought it was kind of stupid, but I was planning on putting a lower number.
Yeah.
But again, even coming in with Mike Eckler at Tennessee, he was immediately at double digits.
Yeah.
And he was at double digits every single year. So he turned it around at Tennessee immediately. So I was like,
I'm
fuck it,
happy
let's
to be
just see.
wrong on this one, but it's
Yeah.
going to be under.
I'm going to go over and be bold. I am high on Andrew Marshall and his ability to return
I
punts.
love Andrew Marshall.
Do you think it's going to be Andrew Marshall? Because I heard small rumblings that Demetrius Bell might find a home at that spot.
If it's not Andrew Marshall, who is really, really good at Idaho, it means there's somebody out there who's better, which makes me feel confident.
Yes, absolutely.
Everything in my head is telling me to go under, but then my heart, whenever I look at Andrew Marshall and Demetrius Bell, Ja'Cory Barney, the options that you have make me say,
I better not see him back there
they can get
receiving
9.5.
punts.
Ja'Cory Barney?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He better not be back there taking those hits.
I agree.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also want to take the over, but when we were doing this question every single week, Matt and I were always on the same page of we're taking the under until it's not.
The only time that it wasn't
Exactly.
was when I picked the under. Can I tag 2 additional questions onto that? Just little prop questions. Okay. So my first question: who do you think is the stalwart at punt return? Because I think if Andrew Marshall is playing full-time corner, which there's some rumblings about that as well, do you really think they're putting him back there as a full-time punt returner?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
He's not like he's going to start at corner.
I'm going with Demetrius Bell.
I think Andrew Marshall could start at corner.
Well, if you're starting at corner, he won't be back there.
I think Eckler's the type of guy that does not care if you're starting on defense.
No, they had lots of starters at Tennessee.
Yeah, I think he'd still play a starter at punt returner if he's the best option they have.
That's fair.
Okay.
I'm going with Demetrius Bell on that one, just because I don't know that he's going to crack that top 4 in the wide receiver room, and they're going to want to do something to keep him and get his talent on the field. My other question then would be over under 0.5 housed. Kick return or punt return?
So Are
we getting one this year?
I had that question last year. Well, I did kick returns for a touchdown. I did put it at 0.5.
Special teams return. That's on punt or kick.
What were our answers there?
I said yes, I'm sure.
No, you took the under.
Oh, really?
I took the over. I was the dumbass.
Matt, you took the over, and I took the under. Fans took the over. So BJ and myself were right.
How long has it been since we had one?
Last kick return for a touchdown was game 1 versus Arkansas State in 2017.
And last punt return was also J.D. Spielman.
Was also J.D. Spielman.
That was South Alabama.
In 2019. Yeah.
I remember that game.
Okay.
So I'm going to give that one a big fat no.
Now, also, I will say,
Prove it.
For anybody that wants to go in the comments, well, actually, Malcolm Hartzog was credited with a punt return
because of his blocked punt
but
return,
it was because it was blocked. So
with the
that doesn't count.
Yeah.
With the high five running down the sideline.
Yeah, I don't count that. So anyway. No, that was a field goal. That high five one.
That's right.
The Hartzog one was a different game, but
fair enough.
Anyway, let's see.
Is that Rutgers where they blocked that?
I don't recall. It was Tommy
high
Hill and
one was,
Hartzog running down the
High
sideline.
five was Purdue. Maryland?
I thought it was Maryland.
It was Maryland.
Might have been.
Yeah.
What was the punt one though? Was that? I think that was
that one. Might have been Rutgers.
Rutgers. That sounds right.
Yeah, that was one of the only exciting things about that Maryland game because of the wind.
Yeah.
I was at that game. That was the only time that I got out of my seat, really.
All right, question number 10. Second to last question. We did this question last year as well. Nebraska scoring defensive ranking. Will we be a top 20 scoring defense team? Yes or no? Last year we were 17th. 2 years ago, Rhule's first year, we were 13th. In Rhule's 3 double-digit win seasons, they have been top 20. They have been top 20 each of those 3 years. Have to be pretty much 20 points or under to be a top 20 team.
All those numbers just kind of scream yes. And even the really good teams that we're going to be playing this year, I don't see scoring a ton of points. I think I see their defense leading their wins there. So, yeah, I'd say yes on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to say no. More because of what the offense can do this year, where I think there'll be less pressure on the defense to go out there and be a scoring defense. I think this defense is going to pride itself on those splash plays, tackles for loss, sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions, rather than being that defense that needs to hold the other offense to under 20 points a game. So I'm going to say they're going to be outside the top 20, but not too far off. We're talking somewhere between 20 and 30. They'll be close in there. I don't think they get there, though, just because there won't be as much urgency from the defense to keep the other team off of the board because it's easier to play with the lead.
I'm going to say no as well because last year we allowed 19.5 points per game, and we were slightly worse than the year before that at 17th. And like I said, you basically have to be under 20 points per game to be in the top 20. And I think we're going to be just above 20 points per game. So just outside of the top 20.
I can tell you the national projected ranking for us is 18.5 to 20.5. So you set this like perfect fucking number. I'm going to go with the yes on this one simply because I'm choosing. This is like your Cam Lenhart pick. I'm choosing to be more hopeful about our defensive line and trusting that the plan that they had in place and the way that we're going to get after people a little bit more is going to be effective at hiding our rush defense deficiencies this year compared to last.
Just as I look at our schedule, teams that I expect to score at least 20 points on us. Minnesota, USC.
Penn State.
I don't think Penn State will need to.
I just think that they will.
Yeah.
Whether or not they need to or not is a different conversation.
Maybe up to 24. I don't see them scoring much more than
That's
that.
fine.
The projections that this poops out for us, 18.5 to 20.5. National rank 15 to 22. Takeaways 20 to 25. Touchdowns allowed less than 28.
Okay.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's good. That's a good D right there. And you pair that with a top 20 offense, I like it. Oh, did I just project that? Top 20 in both?
I already know what you're going to pick for this next question.
Did I bump the next question?
This is
Just so you guys know, we do not, none of the three of us got these questions ahead of time.
Not that it matter.
I finished it like 20 minutes before I got here. So, last question: Nebraska offensive points per game. You wanted to say over, BJ?
No, not yet. I don't know what the number is.
30 points a game. 30 plus points a game would put us at 51st last year. We had 23.5 last year for Nebraska. The last time we got to 30 points per game was 2018. So I am typing over for BJ.
I'll also dive in with an over, less because I think it will be that. It needs to be over 30 points per
Yes.
game. It's as simple as that. So
Yeah.
for Nebraska to achieve the things that I think they could achieve this year, and for the things that they have internally, it needs to be over 30 points per game. So I'll say over for that reason alone.
The problem I'm having with this is what we talked about in our first show, which is if we get up big in those games, that
This
we
is
should
the
blow
point
them
that I was
out.
about to make. Yeah.
We're going to stop at 35 and wind things down. And so for that reason, I gotta go under on this one. Not by much. I think we'll average somewhere around 28. But you get into the later part of the year and you're slapping back and forth with Iowa, scoring 10 points or 13 points in the game. Those bring your numbers way down.
That was the point I was going to make. I'm going with the under just barely also. In these first three games, not necessarily against Cincinnati, but specifically Akron and Houston Christian, we can put up 50, who the fuck knows, even 60 points and pad our stats for the rest of the year. But what we've seen for a long time is you get towards the end of the Big Ten's schedule and how many 10 to 13 games do we lose?
Yeah.
You know,
And you're
and that
just standing there
drags
punching each
the-
other in the face.
Exactly. So I'm not necessarily saying that I think we're going to see a shit ton of 13 to 10 games with a Holgorsen offense.
But one 13 to 10 game can totally drag your
Bingo.
scoring average down.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the under, but just barely.
So before I answer this, I'm going to ask you guys a question. How much do you think Rhule means it when he says he's completely taken his hands off of everything that Holgorsen's doing with the offense?
100%.
Okay, so that in mind, you guys agree with that?
What about 90%?
Yeah, I would say I think what he's doing with the offense is true. What he's doing in game management is not true, which is how are you scoring?
It's a good
Okay.
point. Yeah.
I understand that. My thing is, if he's taking his hands off the offense and Holgorsen's saying, I need to be able to run these things and find out what I have through, let's say, the first handful of shitty games that we have, 5 or 6 shitty games that are lumped in that first 8. I want to be able to run up the score if I need to. How much of that Bill Belichick-esque shut it down at 35 and don't score anymore on them thing are we really going to see? Because when it comes down to it, projections are projections, and everybody and their mom knows if you have a top 20 offense and a top 20 defense ranked nationally, that means something.
Mhm.
So some of the gunslinger run it up mentality from Holgorsen in his past of averaging 40 plus points per game with a lot of his teams, I don't know if Rhule's going to tamp that down by saying, hey, you have to take your foot off the gas and you can't let these backups go out there and run your offense the way that you think you should run their offense. For that reason, I am going to go over, and I don't think we see as much of a pullback on the throttle when we have a Houston Christian, second, third, fourth string guys in the second half.
Yeah, I partially agree with you, but I still think you will see those second, third, fourth string guys in who then have to go run that offense and be that high octane if you want to see those extra points.
Absolutely.
Can I give some credit here to Jed? I think 30 is a great number.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's
I think
fantastic.
30 is a fantastic
30 is a
number.
great number because I think it'll be between 27 and 32.
Absolutely.
Somewhere in there.
Basically, is Holgorsen worth a touchdown?
Yeah.
Per game.
I say absolutely
Well,
if you're
yes,
asking it that way.
if it's just that way.
But I mean, they averaged 23.5 last year. And that's with, I know they had Holgorsen for 4 games last year. And in 1 or maybe 2 of those games, I'm brain farting right now, Nebraska did only score 10 points in one of those games. So, Who knows?
Let me ask this. Do we think we're going to be better than Iowa's offense was last year?
Us 4 could be better than Iowa's offense last year.
They averaged 27.7 game.
Okay.
But they did have some defensive help. They had some defensive help. A little bit of defensive scoring, also defense setting up with short fields.
That's fair.
That helps.
They had a few games they ran it up, which is not Ferentz-esque.
If we're talking average scoring, purely that, I think Nebraska should be better than 27 points per game.
Sure.
30 is a great number. You should be better than 27.
I'm going over.
Okay.
Simply from a gut standpoint of I think that we're going to run the score up on some people.
Yeah. That's all I got.
I could see us putting 45 out at the Rose Bowl.
Oh, I would love that.
I think you can take your foot off the gas and still put up 35 plus points. So I don't think Nebraska's going to run the score up. I think this offense could take their foot off the gas and still continue scoring points.
It's just one of those accidental, because that's the other thing too. The second, third string, when you look at the lineman side of things, usually the fall off between our starters and the second string was massive.
Well, yeah, and
that's not as much of a case this year.
And there's a difference between, I don't think the team ever takes their foot off the gas in those big wins. It's the coaching staff who takes their foot off the gas. Yeah. And you can have a coaching staff who takes their foot off the gas and a team who can still go score 2-3 more touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. A team, yes. Not this team. Typically, when we take our foot off the gas, everything stops.
Mm-hmm. We talked about it in the last show. We could have a game, you said 38-7, and I said 35-10, but it's going to feel like it's 55-0.
Yeah.
We could have games like that too. So, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to score 50 or 60 points.
I'm thinking about a game like Colorado where we were up, we were doing it last year, and then we felt good about it, and then everything just stopped.
Yeah. Which would then also go back to what we talked about with Raiola multiple times, saying at Big Ten Media Days, we need to learn how to not just play three quarters.
That could have an impact too.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of it that feels to me, because we talked about this probably 2 months ago about the difference between the top 4 or 5 team echelon in the Big Ten and the rest, similar to the way the SEC is, where you might have good parity across the league amongst the starting level. And Nebraska had always been on the bottom end of that as far as the starting level. Now Nebraska's starting level seems to be creeping up, if not in it, they're on the fringe. But the biggest difference is in the fall off in the second and third teams. Championship caliber teams, big time Big Ten teams are all 2-3 deep. Are we old enough as a team yet to be 2-3 deep and still run through people? That's where I get into the conversation about the offensive line being a lot deeper than it's been, being able to go deeper into games, things like that. I don't know.
So real quick overview of these 11 questions. 5 of them, we literally split down the middle 2 and 2. And 2 of them, we completely agreed.
What were the 2 we agreed on?
Emmett Johnson, total yards, 1,200 yards.
Okay.
We all took the over. And then the other one was Dane Key receiving yards, 1,000. We all took the under. But 5 of the 11 we took literally 50-50 between the 4 of us.
That's wild.
I'll be curious to see what the fans of the Big Red Junkies
I was literally about to say that.
Yeah, they got to do better than last year.
Hopefully you've been commenting along this entire time and you're dropping your projections in there. If you did, or if you haven't yet and you want to now, go back, rewatch it, drop them in. We'll put them on the spreadsheet. We'll keep tracking. We'll put you individually into how we rate these out at the end of the year.
And also, after you get done watching this show, go on Twitter, because I'll put these questions up on Twitter for you to vote on.
Go vote it.
And you could also, have you guys thought about doing like a Google Sheet?
I mean, these are Google Docs that I'm doing.
They
drop them out there.
They have like the Google Sheets that you could probably put somewhere in your description where people can just go hop on a link, and
that'd be kind of fun.
They'd have to put in either their name or an email.
I used to do those, but nobody ever clicked on them.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then, folks. Just hop in the comments.
Drop it in the comments. It'll help the algorithm anyway.
We'll cut that part. I'm an idiot.
Move on. Well, to be fair, when I was doing this was when we had like 7 listeners every time. So maybe it wasn't necessarily that nobody was doing it. It's nobody was listening.
Oh, there's that.
Now we have people actually listening. So, I mean, we'll talk about it. Maybe we will.
We really appreciate you people listening. I don't know if you've noticed. I don't know if the accurate count is right there, but we are 51 away from crossing the 2K mark on subscribers. Would love to get that number up. Share us. Put us out on Twitter. Put us out on YouTube. Put us out on, Everything. Facebook,
Just put us out.
the gram.
Just
Wherever
not out
you
of,
are.
just not out of our misery.
Yeah. Hey,
And if you haven't
these guys
yet-
are the best. These guys are the best.
If you haven't yet, Average Joe's is quickly catching up to us, so make sure you subscribe to us, but also go out and check them out.
We can't beat them. It'd be a bad look if we beat them. So make sure you subscribe to them first. But
We've had a YouTube channel for, I don't know, 3 years now, and you've had it for like 6 months, and you guys are blowing us out of the water. So from a growth perspective, you'll be the Husker Online 40,000 plus here in the next year or two.
cross my fingers. It comes down to you, the people. So going over to the Average Joe Sports Show. Oh, I'll also say, I know we're counting down the days to kickoff. We have a tailgate coming up at Arrowhead Stadium outside. Shout out to the Snitley boys, longtime listeners of our show. They're getting a tailgate spot for us. We're going to get the Starlink set up to make sure we can do our show live, both pregame and postgame from the Arrowhead parking lot. We'll have follow-up details with the Average Joe Sports Show to let you guys know how to come hang out with us. There are rumors that Mark Spindler, father of Rocco Spindler, who hopped on with us, he's a great listen. He was former NFLer, played with the Lions, spent a long time in that Detroit media scene. That he's going to be hopping on with us. He said he drinks a minimum of 20 drinks before Rocco plays any game.
Wow.
So he's going to be getting after it.
My kind of fan.
That dates back to his high school days, or Rocco's high school days. Apparently, Mark was just going in there tuned up.
Yeah, Mark's that angry dad from the stands. It's like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Sounds like he can handle it.
Considering what we've been doing today and what's in our bio, we need to get him on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark is the best.
Absolutely.
Mark is the best. I will encourage you to go check out that episode if you haven't. Our interview with Mark Spindler on the
It's
Average Joe Sports Show.
fantastic. I watched
And then, other than that, come hang out with us at Arrowhead Stadium. We'll get you all geared up for Nebraska, Cincinnati, and also subscribe, like, find us on podcast, YouTube, wherever you find us. The Average Joe Sports Show. Search us up. Find us all on social media as well. Really appreciate it.
And this may be the most unbelievable night in Cornhusker football history.